Hey, Scott, I got a question for you.
Yeah, Jeremy?
Why is it so easy for us to talk about sports, but so difficult to talk about the Bible?
This sounds like a life hack you and I need to engage with.
So, Scott, we've been talking about reading the Bible and life hacks, and previously we talked about YouVersion being a fantastic place to go. Now, let's say I wanted to, socialize my reading. In other words, I don't want it to be just a personal thing. I'd love to lead my family in the Bible.
Yeah.
Do you have any life hack suggestions for this?
Well, I think this is where you're taking something very personal and you're putting it out there very public, right? Okay. There is a built-in vulnerability with this. And I would say be comfortable with not knowing everything, right? If you're going to do this with other people, don't assume that you have to know everything going into it. In fact, have a lot of questions. Some of the best time I've had with others is asking questions I didn't know the answer to.
Right.
And it really was an engagement over the story of the scriptures in a way that I have not had on my own. So when I had a question that I didn't know the answer to and I asked my wife, or I talked to my kids about something that I didn't know the answer to, it can feel kind of dangerous, right? Like, wait a second, this could throw everything off. If I don't know that, if someone doesn't know the answer to this, are we really believing in God right now?
Are we questioning my faith? Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I think we got to think God's way bigger than that. And this is his design. Like, one of the stories he tells is about a farmer that goes and sows some seed, right? And Jesus is sowing seed on a hard path, on rocky soil, on soil with weeds, and then on good soil. And at the end of this thing, he says, "He who has ears to hear, let him hear." Not one person in that story asked a question, except later when the disciples got Jesus alone and said, "Hey, Jesus, what y'all talking about? Like, what was that story all about?"
Right.
But it was then that Jesus says, "To you have been given the keys to the kingdom of God." And I'm like, what? And it's just because they had a question. They listened to what he said and we said, "I don't get it." Imagine if we did that with our kids or with our spouse or with friends and said, "Hey, I was reading this, but I didn't get it." How much more alive that conversation would be.
Yeah.
That if we allowed each other to have those moments where I don't know, here's what I'm thinking, what do you think? This is where I think our reading of the Bible really becomes alive, where we invite God into it, we invite others into it who may have more wisdom or who may not, but when we ask those questions, all of a sudden, things start happening to engage us in a way like watching sports,
And that interaction becomes alive at that point. I completely agree with you, either with my kids and reading, an age-appropriate Bible story with them, or with my friends whenever we do Bible studies.
Yeah.
And we're doing, shameless plug, but we're doing a Bible study for the men on Tuesdays at 6:30 a.m. this spring.
Epic Coffee, right?
Epic Coffee.
Far West.
Yes. But whenever we have this interaction, man, the word comes alive. And whenever you're talking to other people about the Bible, it is amazing the insight God will give you. And so I'm such a huge fan of, it really works for me. I'm kind of a talkative person, and I like to listen a lot. So it helps me to engage with the Bible whenever I have other believers with me. So that's fantastic. I love the idea of doing that.
Yeah, and I think we should really be intentional about reading it with our kids and finding an age-appropriate Bible, and we'll have links for that. I think we need to read it with our spouse and begin to really bring our questions together and learn from each other in that environment, and read it with friends. Get in a men's group like Jeremy was talking about, or a women's group that meet on Monday night at the church. These groups are designed to help us continue our reading and continue our listening about what is God saying through these words.
And through these people. And, the people you get together with. I mean, it is so life-giving to be in a group like that. And if it's your own family or your friends or your spouse, just highly encourage people, if you're reading the Bible, this is a great way to do it, is to engage with others in it. So those are two great opportunities to get plugged in, and we'll give you some other links below.
Sure. Tell us what you're learning as you're reading with others, with your spouse or your kids or your friends, and let us know, because we were anxious to hear. Like, comment, subscribe, do whatever you have to do. We love you, and we can't wait to hear from you. Take care, guys.
no, I think that's
how
easy.
come it's so easy to talk sports with other people, but not the Bible?
Yeah.
What's the answer to that, by the way?
No, that's a good question. That's a good question. Did you see Duke get beat last night?
Yeah.
And they should have got beat by Florida State.
Yes.
On Saturday.
Yes,
I
man,
watched that game from a treadmill,
Yeah.
and I'm like, what? You can't get a rebound. All you gotta do is pull down that board. You win that game.
That tells you. I mean, Duke is not invincible by any stretch of the imagination. Do they have exceedingly great players? Yes. I mean, there's no question they've got talent. But the Virginia game, they're playing Virginia, which they haven't lost, and they play a style that's slow down, kind of that Princeton kind of game where it's just
Virginia or Syracuse?
Virginia.
Okay.
Well, they're playing this weekend.
Oh.
They played Syracuse.
Oh, wow.
So this is the game I want to see. Does Duke get destroyed, or is their athleticism going to overcome their just precision ball? Because they take shots they make. Mm-hmm. They don't take errant shots, and they don't turn the ball over. And Duke scores 20 points on turnovers.
Wow.
These guys do not turn the ball over.
So that'd be interesting.
So that's automatically they erase 20 points if they hold on to the ball.
Wow.
So we'll see.
That's going to be interesting. I'm also interested in what you think about the tabernacle that Moses was called to build.
Were we just stuck in this conversation?
Because on the tabernacle, I don't understand.
He totally did it.
I don't understand why God would have him put the floor plan out there. Why is he picking out furniture? What is this about? I don't understand.
Oh, that was good, Jeremy. That was really good.